everyone, welcome back to Teach Nation. My name is Gifty. Today's video is gonna be about my personal 5 tips of how to be teaching during the coronavirus pandemic. It's very new for everyone, so these are my tips that I believe are working for me, and I hope it works for you too.
Sounds good.
My first tip, I believe should be the first one, is just breathe. As teachers, we love our students, we love our classroom, we love our job. I wake up every morning and be like, yay, I'm going to school, I'm going to see my students. And like, I can stay, even when school's done at 3 p.m, I'm there till like 6 or 7. And it's so different just staying home and sending my students assignments from home, and I can't see them, I can't talk to them. Some of my students may be going through something, I can't even speak to them and give them the advice that I would give them usually. So as teachers, as much as I'm feeling this, I believe all teachers around the world are feeling the same thing. But my advice is just breathe. You can only do what you can do during this time. We have to follow the government rules of staying home. You can message your students, you can communicate with them using the other platforms that are available for us online, but my advice is to just breathe. It's going to be okay. Yes, it's going to be okay. Just breathe. That's my first advice. Just breathe. Take it easy. You can only do what you can do, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault that this is going on. So my advice is just breathe. The second tip is, as much as you're breathing in, out, it's also important to communicate with your students. I have a lot of teacher friends, and all of them at this moment have communicated with their students either through different ways or platforms that you use online. So my advice is to communicate with your students. Make sure they're okay. Let them know that you're still their teacher. The year is not over. The school year is not over. We're still there for them whenever they need us virtually. But communicate with your students and make sure that they know you're okay and you know that they're okay. There's different platforms that you can use to communicate with your teachers. There's different platforms that you can use to communicate with your students. I have a video of virtual classrooms that you can use to communicate with your students. So I'm gonna link it below here, or down, whichever one works. And you can check that video out. It's a great video that helps. It's very short and great video to help you understand different ways to communicate with your students during this virtual classroom experience that we're all facing. My third tip is one that some of us feel guilty of doing, but I feel is super important, is that, and everyone should be doing this, but I'm directing towards teachers at this moment, is take time to relax during this time. As much as you're planning online activities for your students to do, communicating them through phone calls, emails, and so with your staff members, also take time for yourself to relax. As teachers, we are so busy. I can speak for myself. I wake up when we're in the classroom. I would wake up, let's say, at 5:45, get to school around 8:15, and then leave school around like 7 or 6:30, because this classroom is full of adventures that gets us so busy that we barely have time for ourselves. So during this time, as you're home, as much as you're planning for your students and doing online courses that you're supposed to do from your what your principal or your head teacher is telling you to do, as much as you're doing that, I really recommend to relax. My thing that I noticed during this time that I like to do, which I never knew, it's baking. I've learned during this time that I love to bake. I have baked oatmeal cookies during this time, banana muffins, you can name it. So just take the time to relax, just find your inner peace, do everything that you need to do to just de-stress yourself during this time, because we never know when we're going to go back to the classroom and get back to that rush. So take the time to relax and just unwind. One thing that I'm doing during this time is spending time with God. So I believe that for me, I'm baking a lot, I'm spending time with God more. I'm reading books that actually So spend time with yourself and relax during this time. It's not a punishment that you don't, not a punishment, it's not a crime that you do so. You need to. We're so busy as teachers. So spend time with yourself. Give yourself a break as much as you can. So that when it's time for us to go back, if we do go back during this school year, at least you feel rejuvenated. At least you feel relaxed and okay. And you can cater to your students more after this. So spend time and relax. Tip number 4 is probably one that, I wouldn't say my favorite, but it's one that I believe is super important. Is when you're setting classes for your students, I would recommend that you send classwork that is a review of what you've already done in class and not new work. For example, before the whole coronavirus happened, I'm not done my math curriculum. I have a lot to do. I haven't covered some things that my students should know before the end of grade 4 or year 4. And I feel guilty sometimes about that. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if they go to year 5 or grade 5 without knowing everything they need to know before they leave? So I would recommend, I know as much as you want to send them new stuff so that they're able to complete the year 4 curriculum or whichever grade you're teaching, I would honestly recommend send things that they already know or that you were reviewing before you left class. Because then if you're sending new stuff, especially when it comes to math, new things that they don't know how to do, you're actually bringing stress upon them because you're not there to physically tell them how to do it. The parents may have a hard time understanding, ooh, how should I teach this to my child? So I would encourage you, please send things that you've already done in class. Like for example, in the beginning of the year, September, I was teaching my students how to do Roman numerals. So I legit, right when school was closed for the virus that's going on, I went back to September's math work and sending them things that they've already done, just a review, because you'd be surprised that you have covered this in September and you're like, oh, they were masters at it in September, they know what to do, but then when you actually give it to them, you're like, maybe not so much, I need to go over this. So yeah, send them work that you've already done to let them review the concept that they already know, so then when they get to year 5, at least they're masters at that concept, at least. My last tip, number 5, is a great way to get your students to be really active when they're learning. It's not just sending worksheets for them to do, but give them project assignments that they can do at home that will last them, let's say, a week or 2, so they can get really active in their learning. For example, last week I sent my students, I guess, a work that can last them a week or 2 of creating their own village. So we used concepts that we used in history, we related it to geography, and I gave them like a day-to-day what they need to do to fulfill their project, and then the last day they actually build something related to it. I'm going to do a video on that project. I think it's such a good project to share. But create projects that you can do with your students. That your students can do at home, just to get their learning, just to be creative and their mind just still wired in the educational way. Those are my 5 top tips of honestly teaching during the coronavirus time. It's a difficult time for everyone, not only teachers, for everyone, but as teachers, I believe that just those 5 tips can be just so helpful during this time, because I know it's bringing a lot of stress on people. So if you're using these 5 tips or any way that you are, like I always say, message me. I have other ideas I can share with you. I would love to. I love communicating with other teachers. So let me know what you think, and yeah, send me an email below. And thank you so much for watching my video.